But some news just coming in. The South Korean military says a passenger ferry is sinking some 20 kilometers off the coast of Jindo Island, southwestern Korea.
In the early morning hours of April 16th, a Korean passenger ferry capsized off of Korea's southwestern coast. Arirang TV reporters were keeping a close watch of the tragic accident and brought us the latest updates throughout the day.
What do you think caused the accident, and what are some of the possibilities we can consider?
On this blackboard here are literally messages of hope written by students from high school.
The capsized passenger ferry, the Sewol, departed from Incheon and was headed for Jeju Island. A majority of the passengers were high school students from Danwon High School in Ansan, near Seoul, and were on their way to Jeju for a field trip. The foreign media also reported on the desperate situation of the capsized vessel.
We continue our special coverage on the sinking of a ferry off Korea's southwestern coast.
Arirang TV's News Production Center scheduled special broadcasts every hour and deployed a number of reporters to different sites to give hourly updates on the rescue situation, as well as the number of deaths.
More than 320 students from that school was on board the vessel that has been capsized 2 days ago.
Rescuers are continuing to search for missing people, and also discussions are continuing on how to pull up the Sewol ferry.
While all of the reporters at Arirang TV were in place, giving detailed updates every hour on the tragic accident, they kept the victims and their families in mind, expressing sympathy and condolences.
Some people are expressing anger at times about the slow surge. 잔머리 계속 날아다니는데요.
Temperatures are fluctuating a lot these days, and it's not an easy task preparing for an early morning broadcast. But if you can't avoid it, then you should enjoy it. Arirang TV reporter Kwon So-a goes over her script over and over again during her rehearsal.
This is Korea Today.
And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today on this Tuesday morning. I'm Oh Jin-ju alongside Kim Min-jung and Kim Young. For more, we connect live to our Kwon Soa, who's standing by at the National Health Insurance Services head office. So fill us in on the latest.
Good morning, Jin-ju. A brand new trial is about to kick off as the state-run National Health Insurance Service filed a lawsuit with the Seoul Central District Court on Monday. Now, it had already announced of such intentions late last year, but the agency says that now it is ready to battle against the cigarette companies, and it believes it has a pretty good shot at winning. Let's find out about the details. If I can, I try to choose a story that is also fun to listen to and which I can deliver in a very interesting way. And what I also like to do is I like choosing hot issues, issues that are very recent, and that's why I planned to do a report on the tobacco case.
On April 14th, a press conference was held at the National Health Insurance Service as the organization filed a lawsuit against tobacco companies. Reporter Kwon So-a was present as a representative from Arirang TV.
담배 소송 제기와 관련하여 언론 브리핑을 시작하겠습니다.
저희 공단은 오늘 오전에 KTNG 그리고 필립 모리스 코리아, BAT 코리아를 상대로 537억 원 상당의 손해배상을 청구하는 소장을 중앙지방법원에 접수했습니다. 그리고 또한 그 과정 속에 소송 과정 속에서 흡연과 질병 간의 구체적인 인과관계 그리고 담배 회사 위법행위들을 밝혀나갈 것이며 저희들은
There was fierce media coverage as this was the first time a public organization was filing a lawsuit against tobacco companies.
질문하시는 기자분께서는 선을 주시면 제가 지명하도록 하겠습니다.
이번에 이제 개인 손배수에서 봤듯이 인과관계가 나왔더라도 담배 제조사가 의무를 다하지 못했거나 위법성을 밝혀내지 못하면 집니다. 거기에 대해서 준비가 좀 되어 있는지가 가장 궁금하네요.
건보공단이 제기하는 공권 소송은 개인 소송하고 좀 많이 다른 측면이 있습니다. 피고들이 KT&G에 국한되는 것이 아니고 필립 모리스와 BTA가 포함이 되어 있습니다. 이 두 회사들은 이미 미국에서 진행된 소송에서 많은 자료들을 법정에 제출하였고 또 패소 판결을 받았습니다. 패소 판결의 주요한 이유는 담배의 유해성, 그다음에 담배와 관련한 여러 가지 정보들을 국민들에게 허위로 게시한 그런 사항들이 전부 다 인정이 되어서 패소를 한 그런 당사자들입니다.
다른 분도 저쪽 뒤에.
Soa seems disappointed that she missed a chance to ask a question.
필립 모리스가 미국에서 패소를 했다고 밝혀주셨는데 제가 알기로는 패소가 아니라 그냥 거액에 합의한 걸로 알고 있는데 패소한 게 맞는지 다시 확인해 주시고요.
패소 사례가 꽤 있습니다. 그리고 가장 중요한 패소 사례는 미국의 연방정부가 필립 모리스 등 처음엔 BAT도 포함이 되어 있습니다. 상대로 해서 담배와 관련한 불법행위의 책임을 묻는 소송을 제기했습니다. 그래서 그 판결에서 패소 확정이 되어서 2014년 1월 달에는 법무부하고 정정부두문에 관한 합의까지 한 사실이 있습니다.
She writes down all the information given during the press conference and marks down her questions.
다음 또 질의하실 분. 예, 말씀해주세요.
아리랑 TV 권소아 기자입니다. 그 담배 회사에 대한 그 위법 행위를 밝혀내시는 부분에서 좀 더 구체적으로 어떻게 그 위법 행위를 밝힐 것인지 그 내부 고발자가 어느 정도 있는지 궁금합니다.
네, 이거는 변론 과정에서 밝힐 중요한 소송 진행상의 내용이기 때문에 이 자리에서 구체적으로 밝히기는 부적절하다고 생각합니다. 소송 과정에서 지켜봐 주시면 고맙겠습니다.
Soa asked a sharp question, but the answer she received was quite disappointing. The briefing prepared by the National Health Insurance Service lasted for an hour, and it was a special moment for Soa.
Well, actually, it was the first time ever that I attended such briefing, so I was pretty excited to be at that scene. And before I went to the briefing, I already had in my mind that I'm going to raise my hand there and ask a question. So I was a little nervous, but I thought all the other senior reporters don't know me. They don't know that I'm a newbie. So I tried to be as confident as possible and just asked that question. Although I didn't receive that answer, I was satisfied because I asked a tough question, which they hesitated to answer.
The reporters couldn't leave, even after the press conference ended, and Soa was among them. She listened carefully to receive some new information, but the lawyers didn't say much. It's now time to organize her article.
다 못 썼어요, 이거. 처음부터 다시 들어갈게요. 이 부분 쓸게요, 여러분.
Soa carefully edits the video clips and the recorded sound bites, then sends it over to the news center at Arirang TV. Scott, the in-house editor, is in charge of going over the scripts.
Hey, Scott. At the end of my stand-up, can I say in this case instead of in a court of law, because I don't want to say that big organizations have better chances than individuals in general, but in this specific case. So, okay, in this case, I'll write that. Okay, yeah, thanks. Bye.
Her morning of collecting news materials is over once she completes a stand-up that will go out in the evening news.
선배, 저 방금 에딧 받았는데 조금 외울게요. The National Health Insurance Service says due to its big database and its thorough
Accuracy and speed are important when collecting news materials. It may be a bit of a burden for a rookie reporter.
The National Health Insurance Service says due to its big database and thorough investigation, it has a better chance. 좀 틀렸어요. 잠깐만요. The National Health Insurance Service says due to its big database and its thorough investigation, it has a better chance than individuals of winning in this case. 한번 들어봐도 돼요?
Soa builds up her experience through trial and error.
이거 마지막이었어요? 아, 이걸로 해도 될 것 같아요. 아니면 네, 일단 네.
After her morning news coverage, Soa heads over to a law firm. It is to hear the story of one lawyer who lost a lawsuit against a tobacco company. She is full of curiosity, and this trait is becoming a basis for her to grow as a persistent reporter.
Well, on that day was the day when the National Health Insurance Service filed a lawsuit against 3 tobacco companies. But I also wanted to speak with someone who could talk about the individual's case that was lost last week, where the plaintiffs lost. And the attorney that I spoke to in the afternoon, he supported the individuals that fought against KT&G, the tobacco company. So I wanted to listen to his view as well, because the individual's case is very linked to the health organization's case, I believe.
오늘 이제 국민건강보험공단에서 소송을 제기를 했는데 이제 한국금연운동협의회에서도 국민건강보험공단에 그 기대하는 부분이 있는지 이번엔 어떻게 결과가 나올지 생각하시는지 궁금합니다.
네, 앞에서 진행됐던 사건에서 6명 중에 4명은 이제 흡연으로 인한 폐암이다 또는 후두암이다 라고까지 대법원에서까지 최종적으로 인정된 셈입니다. 그렇지만 이제 담배를 스스로 피우기로 결정하거나 끊지 못하고 계속 피웠으니까 그것은 담배회사의 책임이 아니다 이렇게 결론을 내렸습니다. 국민건강보험공단은 굉장히 방대한 질병 관련 정보를 가지고 있습니다. 왜냐하면 질병에 대한 치료비를 지불해야 되기 때문에 그 사람들이 실제로 흡연을 얼마나 했는지 그리고 이제 어떤 질병에 걸렸는지에 대해서 아주 상세한 데이터, 이른바 빅데이터를 보유하고 있습니다. 이제 흡연자들에게 자기 책임이라고 돌렸던 사유를 건강보험공단에는 똑같이 적용할 수가 없습니다. 왜냐하면 건강보험공단은 흡연을 결정하지도 않았고 또 뭐 담배를 끊지 않았다고 비난받을 행위를 할 만한 것이 없습니다. 개인들의 경우와는 조금 처지가 다르고 그래서 개인들 소송에서 원고 청구가 기각이 됐다고 해서 건강보험공단 소송이 당연히 기각된다고 생각할 수는 없습니다. 오히려 승소 가능성이 더 높다고 예상을 합니다.
그럼 만약에 승소를 하게 되면 그 이후에 개인들 소송에도 좀 영향을 미치겠죠?
이후에 만약 건보공단이 굉장히 강력한 기관으로서 적극적인 입증을 해내고 빅데이터를 활용한다든지 또 한편으로 이제 담배회사 내부자들 사이에서도 그런 양심적인 진실 고백이 나온다든지 하게 되면 이후에는 개인들에게도 다시 소가 제기됐을 때 인용될 가능성도 높습니다. 폐암은 크게 보면
You meet a lot of people when you're out in the field.
암세포의 크기가 작지 않은
At times, collecting news data doesn't go the way you want. But these moments act as valuable experience and help her grow.
He sometimes gave me answers that weren't 100% related to my question, but I had thoughts of jumping in and asking him my question again, but then it was pretty interesting what he had to say. He went pretty deep into the case, and he also explained about the different types of cancer that are claimed to be related to smoking. So I thought later on I could use that stuff, so I didn't really want to interrupt him.
It was 2 p.m. when Soa came back to the office. She is done with her coverage, but her day at the news center is just getting started. Soa prepares for the 6 p.m. news with the content she collected in the morning.
The tobacco companies may have committed?
Yeah.
Is this like And Associates? Yum Chung and Saw? Or is that the actual firm name?
Yeah, that's the firm name. In Korean, they say it's called Namsan 법무법인, but then on the English website,
It didn't say law firm
it
at all.
just says like that. For the first time ever here in Korea,
A day of a reporter is filled with tense moments, and time goes by in the blink of an eye.
companies to recover medical costs incurred due to tobacco-related illnesses. Kwon Soa, Arirang News.
혜위 선배, 그 숄더 있잖아요. KTNG를 빼고 그냥 제가 국민건강보험공단 보냈거든요. 그거 2개 더 넣어주세요.
The article must go through several steps before it can be aired.
일단 또 하나 더 보내드릴게요.
There are many hard moments for a rookie reporter. She can go through all the tasks as long as she works hand in hand with her fellow reporters. And she can probably receive energy from others through companionship.
이렇게 여기 정도까지 나오다가 그냥 막 병원이나 담배 다른 그림 이렇게 가도 안 이상하죠?
그리고 저기다가 표시해주면 돼.
표시?
비디오 인서트 쳤다고.
아, 여기다가요? 오케이.
Our Kwon So-a has this report.
For the first time ever here in Korea, a public organization, the National Health Insurance Service, is suing
Kwon So-a calmly does her share of work, and that's why we can look forward to her bright future.
4% of its total health insurance payouts. The National Health Insurance Service says due to its big database and its thorough investigation, it has a better chance than individuals of winning in this case.
Since I really enjoy doing live reports, I would love to be outside at the scene where something big is happening so that I can spontaneously tell the people in a very lively way. I realized the more I write about different kinds of stories that I'm interested in various fields, and that's why I think I'm still on my path of finding what I really like and what I really want to focus on. And right now I'm satisfied that I get to write a different variety of stories.
시간이 좀 남아서 여기서 기다릴까 봐. 저희 오늘 녹화에 나오신 출연자분이 여기 묵고 계시다고 해서 모시러 왔어요. 직접 픽업하러 왔어요. Hello, Professor Sorman.
Okay, hello.
This is
Yes.
Mare. It's
Yes.
really great to see you. Okay, let me escort you to your car.
You've been to Korea a lot of times before, right?
I come every year since 1985. All my books have been translated into Korean, and so I come usually because one of my book is being translated, or I give a conference, I give a talk, but this gives me the opportunity to meet a lot of people and to travel around the country. No, my pleasure. It's so far from home.
What brings you to Korea?
I've just released a new book in Korean.
So, in order to change the world, one must give?
I explain in the book that all debates always government against free market against government.
Right.
But the society is not based on 2 pillars, it's based on 3 pillars. You have government, which is based on authority, a free market, which is based on profit, but in the middle you have a 3rd pillar, which is based on generosity.
Is the 3rd pillar more based on citizens' participation?
Yeah.
So
it's completely based on citizen participation, citizens coming together, building charities, building NGOs, building foundations. It can be small at the neighborhood size, can be huge at the national, international size, but this is a non-profit sector. Also, non-profit sector can bring solution for very problems for which nobody has a solution. Take drug addiction. Nobody has a solution for drug addiction. You need to try several solutions, you know, in competition. The state government doesn't know how to do that, and the private company, it's not their business.
Right.
So you have to rely on the NGOs to try, you know, new way to cope with new problems.
So you look at that third sector as more of an institution?
Yeah, it's not one institution, it's millions of institutions.
Right.
Millions of institutions. Trial and error is the key of success in philanthropy. So I describe all this story because it's strangely enough it's very important, and it's not well covered. There are very few books, very few studies. You know, people do it, but they don't talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. Can I leave my things here, or it's better to take everything? What do you think?
You can leave your stuff here.
I get everything? You're sure you won't steal my...
I thought it was very fascinating to hear what his new book was all about, and it focuses on philanthropy and a giving culture as a very essential part of society. So it was really nice to hear straight from the author what their new book is. That's always an exciting thing. Well, Mr. Sorman, thank you so much for joining us tonight on After 10.
My pleasure. To my surprise, I discovered that Korea as such was a totally different civilization. 30 years ago, when I would say, I'm back from South Korea, where? You need to support artists, because after all, I mean, why has France a positive image in terms of quality of life? We would invent things that we don't know about. So I think it's very important to recognize the creativity.
The main thing that I got from this interview was a surprise when he said, support the artist to create the creative economy. It sounds right, because that's where the new ideas come from, that's where the new image of Korea comes from, that's where the culture is preserved and evolves. So I thought that was an amazing insight. He's a very smart man.